Great. So yeah, my name is Lindsey Crocker. I am an applications developer at SpareFoot.com, and been there for about a year and a half now. Like you said, we're located in Austin, Texas. And I'm going to talk to you about smart call centers, and really what that means is we do two things at SpareFoot, one of which is called attributions, which is tying in web behavior to, tying web behavior to phone behavior. And then we also do something called deflections, which is just deflecting callers to the right agents. And actually, I think someone mentioned it in the keynotes talk about deflecting certain people to certain agents. And actually, we've been doing that at SpareFoot for a while. Okay, so a little more about SpareFoot. This is SpareFoot. That's our slogan. We can store that. We are an online aggregator for self-storage units or storage facilities. If you're looking for a place to put your furniture in a unit, and I'm talking about like these units, not the cloud, which a lot of people say like, oh, self-storage, you mean cloud? No, we mean these awesome beauties right here. And you can go on our website, put in your state, wherever you live. We'll show you the various facilities around your area, and then you can book units online or through the phone. And so when I say facilities, I mean places that have these units to book. And then when I say units, I mean these particular units. I might say things like 5 by 5. And what I mean by that is just that's the size of the unit you can rent. And I think I was going to say something. And so you can book online or through the phone. And actually, 40% of our bookings are through our call center. So for us, our call center is super, super important. So we need to make sure that everything works really well and efficiently. Okay, so what we had was you can call our call center through a 1-800 number. Well, the problem with toll-free numbers is that not a lot of people want to talk to a call center. They see that 800 number, they know that they're going to talk to a call center, and they kind of don't really want to deal with that. Not a lot of people, but some people just don't want to do that. And it's actually, we saw that more people call local numbers than toll-free numbers, because a local number is a little more inviting than a toll-free number. But also, you don't want to have the same local number everywhere. And also, kind of weird if you're looking in San Francisco and you expect a 415 number, and really what you get is a 415, right? Okay. Is a 512 number, which is Austin, Texas, and then you see all the facilities have that same local number. Then that's kind of fishy, and you're like, I don't know if I want to call that. And so what we decided to do is buy a lot of local numbers for all the markets that we have, which is nationwide. And obviously, how do we do that? Twilio. I don't think I have to explain what Twilio is here, but yeah, so it was an awesome way to buy all these local numbers. So for all the cities that we have, or the places that we're selling units, we have multiple local numbers. And so if you see here, this is what our website looks like. Each facility in San Francisco here is going to have a different local number. And so, but those are going to go to the call center. They just look like they're local numbers. And all of our numbers actually on our website are pretty much Twilio numbers. I think there are 1 or 2 that are client. So it's really cool. Actually, a lot of the numbers are Twilio. So, but like I said, you're getting a call center. So then you get into this weird thing of like, them being like, wait, I'm not talking to the facility. And so they kind of like get a little confused because the agent is asking, hey, where are you located? And they're like, well, you go back. Oh, sorry. If it was like all safe self-storage, it would be like, well, it's pretty obvious where I'm located. Why are you asking me? And so then you have to go back and forth of them explaining what we are. No, we're SpareFoot. We like can help you shop around. And then you waste like all this time just trying to explain what you are. And so we're like, okay, how can we make this a little more faster so we can shave off that time? So we actually have their web behavior already. So we have a unique visit ID to each visitor that goes onto our website. And we have all this information like where did they come from? So how did they get on our page? Did they come from Google? Did they come from Bing? What are they searching? So are they searching in San Francisco? Are they searching for a 5 by 5? Are they looking for a move-in date of like June 1st? And then what pages they visited. So what facilities they saw, what promotions they've seen. Like we have all that data already. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be sending that to the call center agents. So they have that for the caller already and don't have to ask all those inane questions. So that's what we do, actually. What happens is, let's say 3 people go on our website. They each click on self-storage 1, San Francisco, which is the random one I picked on the website. And you can see each local number is a different number. Same storage facility, different number. So what we do is we have these pool of numbers, and when a person comes onto our website, we allocate a certain number to them. We're saying, we're showing this guy this number, and so that first guy, he sees that number. We know he saw that number. So when he calls, we're like, oh, the last person we gave this number to was this guy. And so now we have all the information that, he did on the website. So we automatically know he's from San Francisco. He's looking for San Francisco, at least. That he was looking for a 5x5, June 1st, all this stuff. And we can see actually all the facilities he looked at. We can also see some of if he had previous bookings, but that's by his call number. So great. Yeah, so that kind of solves our solution. They call us, and instead of us asking, where are you located, we're like, oh, hey, you see you're at this facility. Do you want to book? And it really shaves off all that time in the beginning of just asking stupid, inane questions. But there is another issue and I'm sorry, Twilio, but we don't really want to go broke by buying all these Twilio numbers. It would be awesome if we had one unique number per person. So if one person went on our website, we just had one number, we gave it to them, and then we never use that number ever again. That would be perfect. I don't think that's really possible, and that would cost a lot of money. And so we can't really do that. So what we do is we actually have these pool of numbers for local numbers, and then we kind of reallocate them. And so, these 3 people went to their website, they got these 3 numbers, and let's say that's all the numbers we have. The next visitor that's going to be looking at the self-storage unit, let's say, is going to get that one that we had allocated first. Because we don't want to allocate the one that we just allocated, because you get into this weird sticky situation, which I'll explain later, actually. And so yeah, we just have a pool of numbers, and it's like a queue. We just go through them, and so we're like, okay, let's buy some of the numbers. And some of the numbers is intentionally vague. Some of the numbers, or just some, is very important. It's a very important word of how many numbers should we actually buy? And just to give a little context, this was taken, I believe, last Thursday. We had over 200,000 number allocations. That means we showed 200,000 numbers. Obviously, some of them are multiple times, to visitors. That's a lot of numbers. We also have only a little under 3,000 phone calls. That changes, but that is what we have in a day. So if you think about it, we cannot buy 200,000 numbers. Again, sorry, Twilio, but that's ridiculous. And we only have 3,000 calls, so what that means is that we're allocating one number many times. So then sometimes there's this problem of we said the agent's gonna know who they are, and then sometimes we have this issue of wait, actually, we kind of misattributed you. We actually don't know who you are. And here's an example. So let's say Cheryl goes on our website. She sees this number. She's a high-powered lady. She doesn't have time to call it right now, so she writes it down. Cool. We see that number. If someone calls that number, we're going to be like, OK, that's Cheryl. Now Bob comes on the website. We went through all of our numbers, and now Bob is shown that number. And so we say, OK, cool. Now that number is now Bob's number. So if that person calls that number, it's going to be Bob. Well, then Cheryl calls the number. So we're like, oh, hey, Bob. And then Cheryl's like, nah, it's Cheryl. And so that kind of becomes an issue. And so that's why I said some of the numbers, because it's a hard problem to solve. And so we're still actually trying to work out what some of the numbers means. And so one of the reasons why we don't really have a solution right now is because A, it's a hard problem to solve, and B, we actually have a pretty good success rate. We don't have many misattributions actually going on. And so it's not like top priority for us. So we have like around 9,000 numbers, and you saw we had 200,000 number allocations, and it works out really well. But that's obviously not gonna scale if we get a million allocations a day. I don't think having 9,000, the same amount of numbers, is gonna help us. It's probably just gonna get worse and worse. So trying to figure out what that sweet spot of numbers is and scaling it appropriately, still something we're trying to work out. We have a lot of data, we have a lot of hypotheses, we're still, looking into it, but it's pretty interesting. Also, another thing we can think about is, this number and this number are very, very, very different. We should probably get these numbers a little bit closer. So we don't want to allocate all these people numbers. Like if someone visits our website, we allocate 15 numbers and then they don't call one. That's just wasted attributions. We don't want to do that. And so we want that number to be a little closer. We only want to show a number if it's if they're actually going to call. And so another thing that we take into account is actually we did this, is the call now button. So when you go on our website, we don't really just show you all the numbers right away. We have a call now button on each facility page. So they actually have to click the call now button. We then allocate that number. And so then usually when they click a call now button, they're gonna call. And that actually helped a lot. And so there's still little things that we're doing and we're slowly getting there. We just haven't completely found a nice, perfect little solution. And yeah, but definitely a fun problem to solve. Okay, so now that was really cool. We've been using this since, I don't even know, but ever since we did it, it's been years. We have not stopped. So it's been really successful. And it's been, even when we have weird issues going on, and people start getting weird visit histories instead of the right one when a person calls, the agents actually know right away. They're like, hey, something seems to be off. So the actual percentage of them being right, of the visit history being right, is pretty good. That's just anecdotal though. So, okay, so that was cool. Then there was another thing that we started doing, which was deflections. Again, like I said, we want to kind of just speed up this whole process. And so, we're thinking about ways, we already did that, and now we're kind of thinking about other ways of doing this. And I explained before, but deflections are the way we actually kind of deflect certain callers to certain agents. And really, our main priority is to try to have agents be ready for people who want to book. We don't want to just send them all the support, all the bookings, all these people, just to the agent right away. We want to actually try to prioritize the people who are going to book, because then they book faster, and then it's cool. And so one of the things that was really clogging up our call center was spam calls. I'm sure everyone's gotten these numbers, or these calls, and call centers are unfortunately not exempt from these. We were getting a lot of spam calls. It was not fun. I mean, maybe an agent wants to get a credit card, I'm not quite sure, but it's a complete waste. And so we were like, okay, so how are we gonna get rid of this? Aaron from NomoRobo, I asked him if I could use his face, and he said yes. So I'm not just using it. He's a really cool guy. I think he's here. I don't know if he's here, but he's here. He created this product where you kind of send this API call. It's like, hey, this is a from number. Can you give me, or this is a number, sorry. Can you give me whether or not you think it's spam? And then it responds with yes or no. And so, okay, so now we can know if it's spam or not, but what are we going to do with it? So we did this. Sorry, I don't have any sophisticated animation. So caller calls. And then we ask Nomorobo, hey, is this spam or not? If he says, no, or the API says he's not actually telling me, but if the API says, nah, that's not spam, it's fine, we send it to something we call first call resolution, which is called FCR, which I will probably say FCR. And really what that means is we want to send that straight to an agent. They're not going to be spam, so cool. Let's just send it straight to an agent. They're going to book. It's cool. And then, but if it is spam, we don't want to just hang up on them because there could be some false positives. And also maybe spammers want to book too. Who knows? So we actually send them to an interactive voice response, which is IVR, which is also known as the call tree or automated voice system. Pretty much, if you press, they ask you to press certain numbers to get to certain places. And so you can actually press 1 when you get to our IVR to talk to an agent. So when we send these spam and robotic calls to the IVR, they actually, we expect them kind of just to pass through and not hit any buttons, and then we got rid of them. Awesome. So we didn't want to just do this and then see what happens. We actually A/B tested it, and the results were really cool. But this is how we A/B tested. Simple. If it was not spam, then we didn't really care. But if it was spam, we would send it to the FCR IVR, and we wanted to compare what happened. Like how many times did an agent get a call? How many bookings were there, all this stuff. And what we found was super awesome. We had a decreased number of delivered phone calls, which is pretty much agents didn't get a lot of calls when we sent them to the IVR. And that in isolation is oh, that's not good. You want people to call you so they can book. But actually, all the calls that went to an agent were qualified for a booking, which was really awesome. And then the phone bookings were the same, whether or not we sent them to IVR or FCR. So it was a clear win when we sent them the IVR. And actually, overall, the amount of phone bookings was very minimal. And we had 10,000 or thousands of impressions for each A/B test or for each variation. And so it wasn't something we did for 100 calls. It was something we massively did, and it was maybe double-digit bookings, low double-digit bookings, which means Nomorobo is awesome, and it helped us out a lot, and it's very accurate. So, okay, what else can we do? There's other deflections we can do, and one of the things is, well, we have their web behavior, so why not try to kind of deflect for web behavior? And so another thing we want to do is, again, deflect these calls from the agents that are open for phone bookings instead. And so if there's support calls or certain callers, we don't want them to go into a sales queue or go to an agents that are really there to do a phone booking. So we have new deflectors, and what you can kind of do is a person calls, you see their visit history, because we have that history anyways, and then you can kind of bucket them in certain queues based on their behavior. So what we have is our behavior 1 is if they saw one facility. And that means they went to our website, even maybe even skipped our homepage, went to Google, got to a facility page and called that number. They're not shopping around. That kind of points to a support call. And so we can send them to agents that are well-versed in getting support, just getting them quickly to a facility. Or I think we also send them to the IVR, which then they can opt in. Again, if you don't want to make an assumption, you can also have them select to actually want to book. And so that was also really cool. And then our behavior 2 was let's say they saw a promotion on your website. So they're going around, they saw a promotion, and then they called. Well, you kind of want to sell that promotion, and not everyone sees that promotion, let's say. So you want to sell that. So you will probably deflect it to agents who are very, very knowledgeable about that promotion and can kind of push it a little bit. It's fun. And behavior 3, for example, there's so many other things you can do. But let's say a person was on our website and then just looked at so many facilities, all in the same area, so it was a human, but clearly didn't know what they wanted to do. So if they called, we can be oh, this person's freaking out. Let's send them to our top agents that can really handle these people. And yeah. So yeah, also next steps you can do is customize IVR. We've kind of messed around with this a little bit, but again, you have this web history data. You can see where they're searching. You have all this stuff. So you can actually customize the recordings of the IVR if you want. So this is a joke, but apparently people thought it was really funny, or not funny actually, they thought it was really cool. So I will give you an example of this. You can kind of do different accents in your recording. So if someone calls 512 number, which is Austin, we can be like, howdy y'all. Or if someone calls a different state, you can have different accents. And considering we are putting local numbers, it kind of gives them a little more of a feel of like, oh, this is totally local, instead of just thinking we're throwing them into a call center. I thought it was a joke, but people actually are really interested in this, and my CEO was like, oh, that's a good idea. So it's kind of interesting. So yeah, that's it. Just to go over real quick, I talked about attributions. And a couple other things is that, yeah, it just makes the agent and callers have a better call experience. Like I said, you just kind of go straight to, okay, I want to book this facility or this unit, and then you just kind of do it without asking all those questions that we already know. And also, you get really cool end-to-end analytics. That means like you can actually associate certain web behaviors to certain behavior in the phone. So you can see like, hey, these people don't book, and a lot of them do this one certain behavior on the website. So maybe we should change the website to kind of fix that behavior. You can do all sorts of stuff, and it gives really good visibility in just connecting the two ends. And then deflections, like I said, like I went over, you can deflect spam, which is awesome. You can get callers to the right agents quicker, makes the agent's job easier, makes the callers happier, and then you can decrease the number of agents by doing this. I mean, like, let's say, you know, like it's sad to say that, but when you're deflecting so much spam or so much unwanted calls, the less you need agents to kind of be by the phone answering, because you don't really need as many people as you might have before. And so you can actually decrease your number of agents in the call center, which saves a lot of money. And just like, every second counts. Anyone who knows or running a call center, like every single second counts. 1 second too long in the IVR is a hang up. 1 second too long in a queue is a hang up. 1 second of saying, so where are you from or where are you looking for is a hang up. And so this just saves a bunch of time. And it, for us, saved, I think, over $100,000, I think, when we did at least the deflecting spam. You make everyone happy. You make yourself happy because it's an awesome thing to do. You also make the business happy because you're saving money. You make the caller happy because they get to book really easily. And then you make the agents happy because they get faster conversions and they can move on quicker to the next caller. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you. Again, I'm Lindsey Crocker, and I just want to thank everyone at SpareFoot and Twilio, because this was my first talk, and everyone was super awesome and helpful. So thank you guys. And also, supposedly, I'm supposed to have a, what is it, Twitter account, and I don't, but sorry. But that's my email, so you can email me or talk to me afterwards. All right.